Hello, Racelogic crowd. I'm Brian Littleton, the host of Racelogic Chassis School, and I got Robby Bilbrey of RPI Suspensions on tonight. Robby, good to have you.
Thanks for having me. Look forward to it.
Uh, Robby, how's the shock business going? I know you've told me what behind like everybody is part
Yeah.
shortage a big issue.
Uh, there are some product shortages, but it's we're probably we are probably 50% more at this time than we were last year as far as busy. It's really, really good. We're very fortunate to have the business that we have, and it's a lot of new business and a lot of guys that are getting back into racing. A lot of guys that are just decided, I think, that they're just going to race because they're tired of worrying about everything else. So it's been really good, and it's every class. It's from pure stocks, mini stocks, super late models. We do a lot of asphalt stuff, a lot of road race stuff. Got some TA2 cars. We just got finished up for the Nashville race this weekend up in Nashville, the road course up there. So it's really been good.
Yeah, I knew you said you've been really busy, and we've talked, and of course I know the audience may not. You actually have a full-time job, and you do the
Right,
shows in the
right,
evenings, weekends. So
right.
you're working 80 to 100 hours a week, probably. I'm assuming.
At least, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but I'm lucky because I really like, I really love doing the shock deal because it's interesting. It's always changing. The technology is always changing. We're always looking for speed in different areas. So, it's very rewarding, and in the fact that you build a set of shocks and you get to see that weekend if they were any good or not. So it's very rewarding for me. I like it. Keeps me busy, keeps my mind off, keeps me out of trouble. So it's a good thing.
Right. Yeah. Robby, last year was your first year with Racelogic.
Right.
Got to have you at the crate late model class, and me and you talked a lot about that. Man, what a class that was! I don't think any of us dreamed it would be to the caliber of class that was. I mean, I think you'll agree with that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a very good class. We had a lot of good instructors. I think. Yeah, I still get calls weekly from guys that were in that class and the street stock class that have questions and have bought things from me. And they may not have bought anything from me. They just have questions. Maybe they watch the online portion and had called and said, "Hey, I watched this on the online portion. Y'all guys talked a little bit about this, but can you put a little bit more detail to it?" And I try to spend a little bit of time with them to give them detail. And so the way I have to do things is, my phone rings all day long and I can't really answer it every time. But at the end of the day, I try to call people back or shoot them a text or things like that because you really have to manage your time when you're, juggling. If I answered the phone every time it rang, I wouldn't get any shocks built. So we try to
Right.
do a couple of times a day. We try to get back with people, and that's really a big part of our deal is we try to make our customer service, as good as we can because, people spend their money and they want some service after the sale, and it's not always buying new shocks. It's just I got a problem in my car, and we try to help people with that too. So that that late model class really opened up a lot of people's eyes for the in the direction that everyone there knew that the late model stuff is it's evolving technology coming in the sport. And I think a lot of people saw that Chip and the guys there were pretty much on top of the game of what's happening in the late model world. So it was very good.
Yeah, I looked the other day, Robby. We opened online registration to the public. I think we're at about 15 or 16 already paid, and we're still 8 months out. So, I mean,
That's
that's going to be
good.
another sellout. So, I
Hmm.
tell guys, I know it's a lot of money. I get all that, logistics and all that. But if you're serious about improving your program, you really need to, and I'll say this. I'm not opposed. If a guy's struggling a little bit on money and he'll have some later, just contact me. I want people there that want to be there, and I'm not
Hmm.
too good to hold a guy's spot or something, and for a few months till he kind of gets his money together after season. So, I want to work with guys too. I'm like you. I don't necessarily have to do this for a living. So it's something I enjoy to do, and if we can get the guys in there who really want to learn, I think that's what it's all about.
Right. Right. Yeah, and I think when guys look at the price of it, once guys attend it, you know, there's many of them have told me that it was, it was worth the price, and they would probably pay more after the fact. Once they got what they got out of the class, and realize it was they did learn some things there. It's well worth the money. It's for street stock guys. It's a little more than a set of tires. For late model guys, it's two tires. So but it will improve your program because it just gets you up to speed with what's going on, the latest trends. Because you can also, there's a lot of guesswork out there, what you should do to your car, what you shouldn't do, and we kind of try to take the guesswork out of that and get you in a direction. There's no substitute for education. That's something you pay for that, and no one can take it away from you. And I promise you'll probably have an edge on your competition once you go to class. It's really good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, definitely. It's been, last year was just over the top. And, I haven't really announced it, but the street stock deal, I'm going to throw a little bit out. I'm kind of was waiting till the Nationals, but we're going to do another one this year, and it's going to be in the North Carolina area. And I'll get all them final details out. Them guys have been loyal to me, Robby, even before you came on board. We had guys in New York and Pennsylvania and all through the Northeast that supported me. So, after talking with you and Justin and Wade and some of them guys and Dave, I just felt like I wanted to move closer to them. And it's hard for me because, I live in Arkansas. So, to get there is hard. But, we're going to do the crate late model class, the 15th and 16th. And then my buddy Robert is going to keep my trailer and everything in it. And then he's going to drive on to North Carolina. I'll have to go home and fly back the next weekend to make it work. So I'm pretty fortunate on that. But I just think them guys in the Northeast hasn't had the help like you have in the Midwest or even down South. So we're going to go back there again and still looking at a couple other deals throughout the Midwest, but that's the two right now.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was proud to have you aboard last year. You brought you and Wade both. I know you're both Bilstein guys and y'all get along well, and you bounce stuff off each other, and Wade always goes to the street stock deal because he does a lot of the IMCA world and a lot of that. And I know you do everything too, but you do a lot of the bump stop stuff. So having Wade there was a huge plus on some of that. So just got
and so I do a lot of Bilstein stuff. We really do every brand. We do Owens, Fox, JRI, Integra, everything. But to go back on the class, I attended your class the year before you asked me to teach, and I attended the class because I heard so many good things about it. And like I said earlier, education is important, and so I went there to learn, and I did learn some things. I learned some things about my to help my street stock program. So I'm a believer that you can never stop learning, and there are always new things coming into the sport. So, even teaching the class last year, I pay attention because I learned some things. You learn some stuff. There's a lot of smart guys there, and there's a lot of guys in that you talk to afterwards that attend that have ideas, and you have to listen to those ideas too, because there are a lot of guys out there doing things that are conventional, unconventional, and I never tell a guy, well, that'll never work, because you can line up at a racetrack and there's 10 guys maybe capable of winning. Now, probably all are a little something different. So there's a lot of things that'll work depending on the driver, the car, what he needs, and things like that.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure. And anybody in the audience got any questions for Robby? I was lucky enough to get him on for about 30 minutes tonight. He's busy, but if you got any shot questions or something that he can answer, pretty quick, like he said, he'd be glad to answer a few questions on here. So if anybody's got anything, feel free to type it in, and I'll call the question off to him. Robby, that's what I appreciated last year out of you is you had the same mindset I did. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about, you wanted to help the racer, and you always, appreciated what I done and wanted to be a part of it. So that was a big thing for me, having you on board this year, with all my guys. I mean, everybody I got, the end result is that they want to help the racer out. So I think that's something that we've been able to do over the last 27 years, going on 27 years this year. So
Wow, that's a long time.
that's a long time to do it. And, I laugh because people, I don't race or build cars or shocks or transmissions or so,
Right,
but it's kind of unique because I still think I know what we need to do to help the racer, and I know how to get this, adding Kate Dillon and the online deal was huge, huge, especially during COVID 2 years ago and even
right,
last year. So, we're always looking to make things a little better because, like you said, knowledge is the best. And I could probably charge more, and I just refuse to do that. I
right,
try to keep it to where a Saturday night guy can go attend one of these, because they got to buy food and motels
right,
and maybe an airplane ticket. So I
right.
always keep the costs low. And uh, I think you've heard me say this, and I say it about every broadcast because it was kind of made me feel good. But Dave asked me about I don't know 2 months ago would I sell Racelogic. He said he knew somebody interested. I said hell no.
Right, yeah,
I didn't even ask. No, I
right,
didn't want to. I'm not to that point yet,
right.
and hope I'm not. I'm still going and trying
You
to do
still
what I can
enjoy
do.
doing it. There's no reason to sell it. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to, and I'm gonna keep doing what we do. Uh, let's see. I don't know who that is, Robbie, but somebody said smart man. So happy to have Robbie part of the group.
I paid somebody to put that up there.
Yeah, I know better than that, but
I appreciate that. Thanks.
okay. I'll just tell you who it was real quick, just so we know. Uh, Out there because I can't see a name. I don't know exactly why. It's something to do with this app. But uh, what's the what are you building the most of right now, Robbie? Everything, all types of shocks. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, like just today, I built like so far today, I built like 3 sets of Bilsteins, 2 sets of Fox, some JRIs for a TA2 car that's headed to Nashville this weekend, and I was about to get on some AS2R double adjustable um, canister shocks for a dirt car. So it's just whatever comes through the door. I mean, it's not a. But I will say that the most we do, probably 90% of our street stock stuff are Bilsteins, and then probably 75% of 602 stuff are probably Bilsteins. So our biggest majority of what we do, new sales, are Bilsteins. Reval stuff it's all over the board. I mean, it's not one week or one month you might get all Olin's in. The next month you might get all Integras in. It's really hard to judge. And you can't even. I've tried to look and see if I could try to get an idea to project what we're going to do. You can't do it. It's so cyclical. It's hard to project. The only thing that I do know is I can look from month to month and see what our sales were. And like I said, we're probably 50% more this year than we were last year at this time.
Right. And Robbie, that was Wade that said smart man. He was happy to have you on board. So
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Wade.
that's pretty special when you get two shot guys
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah,
compliment each other.
yeah. Well, we all know that there's such a large market out there, and we're really not in competition. If we can help each other, it's better for our customers, better for all of us, because it's not something that, it's really not territorial. Wade's got customers in my area, I got customers in his area, and that's just the way it is. You have to be able to work with your peers, and it makes it a lot better if you can in this situation, I think. Because
Right.
there's probably there's probably 10 shot guys that I talk to, we talk to regular, just out of just common courtesy, or we buy stuff from each other and things like that. We don't. There's really no territorial angst with one another. We all really get along pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, and that's good. I mean, that's when me and Wade had talked last year. He said he loved the idea of having Robbie there. He said I'll learn something from him, and I'm sure you can learn something there too. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
it helps everybody out in general.
Oh yeah.
Uh, got Street Stock Nationals next weekend. I know it's probably it is the biggest race in the South this year, I would say.
Right.
Golly, 140, I think, street stocks and about that many factory stock. So
I
big
think
week.
they had to cut it off at 140 is what they were saying.
Yeah, and they may have. I seen some numbers the other night, and I think it was 140. So they may be done by now.
Yeah.
So big event, big event coming up.
Right.
There. Man, I know we've had Matt on several times, and I know he's been on your shocks all year.
Yep.
And he's had a great season, won a lot of big races, and he's been leading some and had a flat or this, that, or the
Right.
other.
Right.
He's had a great season this year.
They've had a really good year, and I just talked to Chip today, as a matter of fact, and they just got back from the chassis dyno, and they had found some problems they had been having, and they couldn't find some problems with, the car wasn't coming off the corner good and things, and they found some issues with a carburetor. So that's been some of their issues. They couldn't, on restarts, Matt was having some issues, and so now hopefully, that's good. They found that problem. So, even Chip, as a chassis manufacturer, he's got to have that house car, and it's got to win, and he takes it seriously. I mean, they thought they were down on horsepower and they were ready to pull the motor out, but they took it to chassis dyno and found some things, and that's important. That's a big thing I can tell guys, that if you have access to, if you're running a crate motor and you have access to a chassis dyno, it's money well spent there, because you can find issues with your carburetor. And one of the issues they found is they had changed fuels and they didn't change the jets in their carburetor, and they realized they needed to go 4 sizes bigger on their jets because of the fuel that they were using. They went from, it's not E85, they went from like one brand of fuel to a different brand in a similar octane and all. So, those things are, you'd never find. They have been fighting that for 3 weeks.
Right.
And they fixed their problem.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of big races coming up for them guys.
Right.
I think this weekend, I talked to Matt earlier, and man, him and Chip they're just first class. That whole deal. When I decided to do it, I knew Matt was my guy, and then once I met Chip, I'm like, yeah, this is where I need to be at. And they've helped a lot of racers, and Chip's pretty open book. He was open book in class. We do it right there by the shop because, he probably works more than you do. He's he like work 100 hours a week. So we had to drag him away from the shop when we do the class, and then he comes down and does it. But a lot of good stuff. I don't see any questions right now. We'll kind of finish up a little bit. I just figured somebody had a crazy shot question, and they sure don't want me to answer it. So
that's fine.
What's your plans the rest of the year? Just keep doing what you're doing and keep building shots.
Yeah, just keep doing what I'm doing. I really wanted to go to the Street Stock Nationals this year, but I'm really so busy. I can't take off a day or so to go, and also it's because we a lot of we went several times and take our trailer and service shocks and stuff there. Tried to get Bilstein to go this year, but they're so busy with other things, and so it's kind of, it's one of those deals. You need to be there, but if you can't afford to be there, I don't. It's a catch-22 situation. But I was going to say something about the classes and all this year. The auto show, they just canceled today, New York Auto Show. So we may not have PRI again this year with all this stuff kicking back up.
Yeah, I wondered that same deal.
Yeah.
Robby, do got a question. Do you have bump stops and stocks that you had at the class?
I do. I carry those. I probably sell probably 10 of those a week. They're a pretty high mover, but yeah, we have them. You just call me and we can send them to you.
Okay, good question, yeah. And I don't know exactly who that was, but well, Robby, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on and giving me a few minutes, and looking forward to this year again. I know we got a long ways to go, but you know how it is. It'll be here before we know it. So
it will. I mean, we're already in the 8th month of the year, and it just seems like yesterday we did the class. So it goes by quick.
It sure does. And
it does.
Same group this year as we had last year, and a lot of knife giveaways again, and still working on a few of them things. So man, some good stuff coming up.
Well, I noticed that you also you mentioned the other day that Steve Henry is going to do the street stock class this year.
He is. Steve Henry will be there.
Yeah.
And I know he's a 99% crate guy, but at the end of the day, he's an engine builder. So I think
Yeah.
he'll be able to help any of them guys, with questions. And something that I'm working on that I'm going to kind of put out on this live version that I hadn't put out is I think Profab headers is going to be at street stock class too because they're out of Concord. So
Okay.
I know headers is a pretty big deal in these crates and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think we're going to have him in the house. Kate's kind of arranged that. I'll get the full details on that. But, I just always try to add somebody that's not there to sell you something, but try to bring some knowledge to you, And,
Right.
I think he's another guy that can do that, him and Steve both.
Right.
Because like I said, I know headers is a pretty big deal in these crates. Well, everything is, but
Right.
I know headers is something that they've really worked on,
You're trying to get as much out of those motors as you can, and headers that scavenge really good will help a lot.
We'll throw another question out here real quick. UMP stock car. When track conditions change from heavy to dry slick, what kind of shock changes do you typically make on a quarter-mile dirt oval?
Usually, when it's heavy, you're probably gonna, and I say heavy. There's a lot of traction. Usually you're gonna have probably a little more compression on the right sides than you would, and a little more rebound in the left rear than you normally would. But when it gets slick, we'll start tying the right front down with more rebound. We'll actually put a little more rebound in the right rear, and then your left rear will go to more compression. So I don't really go by numbers anymore. We kind of go by forces, but I will tell you, let's just, for instance, if you're on a hooked up racetrack, you're probably going to have on the left rear, you're going to have maybe a 5 compression, 4 rebound on one of those cars. And the right side, you're going to probably have a straight up 4. Right front, you might have like a 4.7. And then the left front, you probably have a straight up 4. If you're looking at numbers, and then when it gets slicked off, your left rear, you're going to want something like a 12. AFCO makes like a 12.2 or something like that on the left rear, 12 compression, 2 rebound. Your right front, you're going to want something like they have what's called a big nose rebound AFCO. You want something that's got a 600, 700 0 number. But then like a 800 half-inch number, you can look at that big nose rebound stuff they got, and maybe a 3 on compression. And then on your right rear, you're probably going to go, when it's slicked off, you can go to like a 3 and maybe a 7 rebound. And those are things you can get out of the book from AFCO, and that are easy you can order them straight from them. If you're trying to, if you're on a budget and you can order that stuff. That's maybe a good place to start with those numbers there.
Good stuff. Well, Robby, I know I've took about 30 minutes of your time here.
All right.
I do appreciate you coming on, and we'll be seeing you this winter.
Yep.
And I'm sure we'll have you jump back on sometime
Sure.
before now, and the class is coming up. But appreciate you being on board. It's my privilege to have you here.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, you've been loyal and done exactly what you said and helped racers, and that's what we're all about. So, Robby, good speaking with you. Get back and get some more shocks, and
all right.
I'll see you in a few weeks.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining in, everybody. Have a good evening.
Okay.
All right. Bye.